What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the channel. I am here to review Summerslam, New Jersey 2025. This year's Summerslam. My name is Eric, or Nomad Eric. Welcome to the channel. If you guys are new here, we do reviews of every WWE PLE that comes around. Also, might be doing some additional wrestling content, and of course, we also do multiplayer gaming as well as other gaming on this channel. Today, however, we're going to be focusing on reviewing SummerSlam of New Jersey. A very polarizing event. A lot of these matches are very polarizing individually. The event as a whole was very polarizing. WWE as a whole has been a little bit polarizing lately, as well as a return that ended up ending SummerSlam that has a lot of people talking in some not great ways. We're going to obviously break into that a little bit here. We're going to focus the majority of this review on the actual matches, and then I will spend a little bit of time at the very end talking about the big surprise at the end. Of course, I am joined, as always, by Kane, who has his review above me, as well as Rob, as well as a bevy of additional friends that have joined us. My father is here, JC, that's his name. He has actually given me reviews for both nights. I also have my buddy Meatloaf, my buddy Cameron, who used to go by Tyler Rose. You guys have seen him on the channel before if you are a returning guest for some of our repo videos. And then my friend David also participated and gave his reviews for this as well. Now, this is also going to require me to do math, which is fantastic. I'm so happy they were nice enough to do that. So I have a nice handy dandy excuse me, calculator that's causing me to get a little choked up. Mostly out of excitement for having to do all of this math today. I can't wait. We're going to be doing both nights in one video, so we're not going to break this up at all, just like we've done for WrestleMania. That has been 2 nights. And all I can say is lots of wrestling. 12 matches total, 6 matches a night. I think that 6 to 7 match card is probably ideal. 6 matches is probably perfect. I think they might have found the sweet spot for content on here. Personally anyway. We're going to get things started with the opener for night 1, which was Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus the Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. Personally, I thought it was an absolute incredible opener. I loved the fact that we really got to see the chemistry sort of reignite with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. I thought the Brawns were able to really kind of carry their weight a lot. I really enjoyed the development of Bronson Reed is the big one, honestly. I think that he has really come into his own, just coming back from that foot injury to join Seth Rollins and his crew, The Vision, as they're being called. I am recording this on Tuesday, so Monday Night Raw has already happened. And so the group is now being called The Vision. So I really do appreciate their role here. I think their role is definitely getting more and more fleshed out. And Braun Breaker is fucking phenomenal. He is the future big name, like powerhouse. I also think Obafemi could probably take that role as well when it comes up, but we'll get to him much later. As far as this match goes, I thought the character development of Roman Reigns was really the highlight here. Roman and Jey did come out on top with Jey Uso getting the pin, but Roman Reigns took a bullet for him, which is definitely out of character. I guess I couldn't say out of character. I think he is developing his character. And being the guy that actually took the fall for Jey Uso here, took that spear from Braun Breaker, which allowed Jey Uso to get the win, it's definitely a sign of a turning of a new leaf, if you will. And I really do think that in the Roman Reigns arc, if you will, where he's kind of doing these side quests, he's not the dominant tribal chief that he once was. I really do feel like he needs to start being more selfless. And by that, I mean, stop giving your fucking shoes away, Roman. What the hell is this? Bronson Reed coming out with the Shula Fala after jacking this man's J's. Which, by the way, again, recording this Tuesday night, he jacked the man's J's again last night on Monday Night Raw. Dude, bring a gun. You're going to have to shoot that man, alright? Overall, for the match, I gave this match an 8 out of 10. As you can see, Rob gave this match a B, so he gave this match an 8 as well. We have my dad gave this match a 9. He was a very big fan of it. We have Meatloaf giving this match a 7.5. We have Cameron giving it a 7. And we have David also giving it a 9. Kane had this to say: a predictable match that saw Jay getting worked over for most of the duration before the hot tag into Roman to turn the tide. Some scary dives and moments from Roman and Bronson, and some good moments of drama, but nothing super special. Really nice that Jay got the pin. 7 out of 10. So I definitely do agree with him there. Typical Uso match with Jay Uso being the one that's getting worked over here. But between all of us, this match is going to end up getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If there's 7 of us, yes. So we're going to be dividing everything by 7. This match is going to come out to a 7.92. That's going to end up getting bumped up to an 8. So I think it's right around where we all kind of had it at, somewhere in that range. The 9s definitely help put it over and offset the 2 7s. So an 8 out of 10 is where that match is going to go. Next up, we have the women's tag match, which was Charlexa, as I call them. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus the Judgment Day of Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. I believe I said it on Evolution, the Evolution review. Raquel Rodriguez taking Kevin Nash's advice and playing big has literally paid dividends for her entire career. This is, again, the best run she's ever been on. I would have been perfectly fine if Judgment Day had won and retained these tag titles, but I am not going to complain that Charlexa ended up coming out on top here and won the titles, mostly because I can now officially begin my Rio versus Charlexa WrestleMania agenda. But I was really excited by the match. I thought it was fantastic. A trend that I've noticed both with Braun Breaker in the previous match and you also saw with Roxanne Perez here, you're seeing kind of a developmental, not an issue, but definitely a developmental trend with these rookies and second years that are coming up to the main roster from NXT. You're going to see it again with Jade Cargill. We'll get to that in a second as well. But you really saw the two of them having some depth. Clearly, they've been on the main roster for a while. They've experienced a lot in this past year, and you're starting to see, especially with Roxanne Perez, because she is very new to the main roster, you're starting to see where they're definitely piecing together. They're both K-Fob and out of K-Fob listening to the veterans and kind of like piecing amongst themselves and taking this advice and making it their own. But you're also seeing them still make rookie mistakes. You saw Braun Breaker make some. You saw Roxanne Perez make some in this match. But I love that from a viewer perspective that is obviously watching Roxanne Perez since her career began all the way back in NXT. You really do get to start to see these characters take form and the people behind those characters really work on their craft. I love that type of shit, especially when you're able to watch someone's career start and continue. I love the finish here with the tension between Charlexa. They were mortal enemies 4 or 5 years ago. Now they're friends but not friends, as they like to put it. I love in order for that gimmick to work, we're not friends, we're just friends by association or friends by need. In order for that gimmick to work, you have to have moments of tension. They had a lot of that in this match. They came out on top anyway. I loved it. Personally, I gave this match a 7. I thought that there was definitely some clunky moments in here. I could have given it an 8, like some of the others did, but I really felt like a 7 was a good sweet spot for this match. Again, my Charlexa versus Rio agenda has officially began. Let's see what everyone else had to say. We have over on the group over there, we have Rob giving this a B, which is going to be an 8. We have my dad giving it an 8 as well. We have Meatloaf giving it a 6.5. Cameron giving it a 6. He did say he missed part of the middle and the end. So his rating is not entirely accurate, but we are still going to count it. You'll also notice he does not have anything for Sammy and Cross because of that as well. He missed that match. And then, of course, David gave his match a 7. Kane gave this match a 6, stating above, solid match that continues to build of Charlotte and Bliss's friendship, but at the expense of the Judgment Day's momentum. Likely regressing the relationship between Roxanne and Raquel in the absence of Liv, which has genuinely been pretty solid so far. Never bet against Flair, 6 out of 10. I disagree with him on that front. I don't believe this is going to jeopardize their friendship. And again, he did post that before Raw. I'm recording this after Raw. You did kind of see where they're not completely jeopardized themselves yet. They did have a rematch. They lost the rematch. But I really don't think this is going to jeopardize their momentum. It's just going to recalculate some things, and it's going to spice up the Liv Morgan rumors as well. So I'm okay with them dropping it here. Evolution was too early. I'm okay with them dropping it here. And I also think Charlexa really kind of needs the momentum, so I'm kind of okay with them taking it here. Overall, this match is going to get a 6.928, which is going to obviously bump it up to a 7. So kind of right around where everyone was putting it, hit or miss there. Again, the 8s that Rob and my dad gave it are going to be the reason that it's going to stay up at that 7 range. Next up, we have what might be one of the more controversial matches on this card here, in terms, kind of the first one that I think is going to have a very wide array of scores here. We have Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Now, initially I gave this match a 6. I have recalculated it, and I am going to actually give this match a 5. And my reasoning for that is this is the same match that we have already seen twice, with a few additional wrinkles, especially the finish, where you didn't know if Sami Zayn was going to finally use the metal pipe or whatnot to beat Kross. He beat him in a typical Sami Zayn fashion. I didn't get the drama that I'm used to seeing from a Sami Zayn match, and I honestly think part of it is because Karrion Kross can't do it. I have not been impressed by Karrion Kross. This feud was really the last chance, in my opinion, for Karrion Kross to prove the fans that are behind him right and actually come through on a grand stage. And unfortunately, in my opinion, he has flopped. I do like the story aspect of Sami Zayn being the one to get past this Karrion Kross curse that he has had on the main roster for quite some time now. But I feel like the match quality failed to really do anything to make him matter. There are other members of the roster that you can basically substitute in for Karrion Kross, where the wrestling side is going to be better. You literally have Stacks down in NXT. You literally have the D'Angelo family down in NXT, although I do believe they might have broken up, but I'm not sure. You can always put them back together. That could honestly do something very similar to Karrion Kross. You even have the Wyatts, which obviously they're busy with the SmackDown stuff, but the tag team stuff, but still, there's a lot of other people on the roster that can put on a better match than Karrion Kross. He's a great promo, great character guy. This feud has really lost any interest that I have in Karrion Kross long term. And again, it wouldn't have been so bad if this match was like this ultimate culmination in this story, and it really wasn't. It was, again, the same match we've seen twice now a third time, where Karrion Kross is demanding Sami Zayn to admit that Kross is right. About what? I'll be honest, I've done forgotten what he was supposedly right about. I guess letting darkness in if he ever wants to be a champion, I guess. And you did kind of see it with Sami a little bit here. He did snap a little bit more than he has in the past, but again, if the story is that Sami Zayn overcame the Karrion Kross curse, that is a great story to tell. Are they actually going to have any payoff with it? I don't think so. Ultimately, like I said, I initially gave this match a 6. I've reclassified it into a 5. As you can see over there, we have Rob gave this match a low B. That's actually a 7.5. I don't know if I agree with that high of a rating, but he gave this match a 7.5. We have my dad that gave this match a 5. He was not impressed by it either. We have Meatloaf with a 6. Again, this is the match that I believe Cameron missed, which honestly, he didn't miss much. So we're not going to count him. We're going to have 6 scores this time. David gave this match a 6.5. Kane was the most critical of all, gave this match a 4, stating... gave this match a 4, stating, this reminded me of Cena versus Wyatt, but not in the good way. All that time dedicated to these two, and Kross discussing more depth to Sami as the ultimate babyface, a shade of gray they've been teasing since the Raw after Mania. All that time for him to be presented with the option to embrace a slightly grayer morality just to throw the pipe away and get the clean win. Showed some aggression, sure, but it led to nothing. Ultimately, a fairly pointless feud capped off with a pointless match that didn't progress either character, wasted the natural rise of Cross in the eyes of fans, and didn't even deliver an interesting in-ring encounter. Feeling rushed, 4 out of 10, waste of time. I don't disagree with him. I feel like he kind of summarized my points as well in that statement fairly well. Again, it was such a promising match, such a promising feud, kind of thrown away, and unfortunately, I really hope it hasn't hurt Sami Zayn's rise to champion at WrestleMania this year, because there is a chance that it did. Ultimately, though, this is going to end up being a 6 out of 10. It's a 5.6 ongoing. So, again, on this chart, I don't have 5.5s. I don't have anything like that. So, it is going to get bumped up to a 6, whether we actually really think it should be at high or not. Obviously, again, like I said, very polarizing ratings here, and Rob's kind of the reason it got bumped up to a 6 versus the 5 that it probably should have been. Next up, we have Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. Tiffany Stratton would go on to win this match as well. This is another one where the argument, in my opinion, really comes down to, did the right person win? I don't think Jade Cargill is ready, so in my opinion, yes, the right person won. My biggest issue with this match, which is why I gave this match a 6 out of 10 personally, is because this is the best that Jade has looked since coming up. This is the absolute best she has looked. She wrestled her ass off. It was action from start to finish. Tiffany Stratton looked great, and then it fucking ended. It literally ended when I felt like this match was at its peak. It was just north of 7 minutes, I think is what I saw. It's really unfortunate because these two, like I said, these two were cooking. This was an amazing match for all 7.5 minutes of it, and then it ended. I want to give this match a B. I want to put this match at like that 7 or 8 range because it was absolutely trending that way. And it was just really unfortunate to see it end the way it did. Like I said, I gave this match a 6 out of 10. As you can tell, this one is another one that got a little bit of polarizing as far as the ratings go. We have Rob that gave this match a B-, so a 7. We have my dad that gave it a 7, as well as Meatloaf. Now, as far as being critical goes, we have Cameron that was probably the most critical of this match, giving it a 5.5. And then we also have David that gave it a 6.5. And then above me, as you can tell, you have Kane that gave it a 6, with him saying, Jade's strongest showing in ring yet, but still not quite there. Surprised that they gave Tiffany the win, as they seem dead set on pushing Jade right to the top, but I can appreciate the restraint. She doesn't need the belt and arguably still has work to do before earning it, and Tiffany still has legs with her reign. Not much to say since the match was only 7 minutes long. Not especially good, not especially bad either. I've been kind of echoing his sentiments here with this one. I do agree that there were definitely some promising moments here. Now, his comment about Tiffany's reign having legs, I don't think it does. I think her next opponent needs to be the one that beats her, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. The question really was Jade the right person to do it? I don't think so I'm fine with them waiting. But I really think Bianca Belair is going to be the one to face her next, because I think Naomi is going to retain at Clash, and I think Crown Jewel is going to be Naomi versus Bianca Belair, because Crown Jewel is supposedly champion versus champion. And if that's the case, that is absolutely the best path forward to make that Crown Jewel match intriguing, being Bianca versus Naomi. And I think that's the right person to take it off of Tiffany, assuming Bianca Belair is clear to wrestle. Overall, this match got a 6.43, which means it is going to end up being at that 6 range, which I believe we can all kind of agree based on all of our ratings here. It's going to come around that 6 or 7 range, so exactly where it should be. 6 out of 10. Continuing the trend of very polarizing matches on this card, next up we have Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Really, any match that has Logan Paul involved is going to be polarizing as far as the online community goes, mostly because everyone fucking hates Logan Paul. I thought pairing him with Drew was very intriguing. I cannot state how shocked and surprised I was at Jelly Roll. Now, obviously, the expectations were very minimum for a celebrity's first-time match, but you could really tell that the 6 months of training and effort and learning and soaking in the veteran talent and really working. But listen, the Performance Center works magics. I said going into this match that Jelly Roll would be the biggest proponent of the Performance Center if he looks good, and he looked phenomenal. Randy Orton looked phenomenal as always. Drew McIntyre looked phenomenal as always. Very shocked by the ending. Very shocked that you, A, gave the win to Logan Paul, and B, you had him pin Jelly. I honestly would not be shocked if they don't run Jelly Roll versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania. I know everyone is going to bitch about a match at the WrestleMania card being taken by a celebrity, but you know Logan Paul is getting a WrestleMania match. Don't act surprised. Would you rather they put another wrestler in the Logan Paul match or throw in Jelly Roll in the Logan Paul match? I'm pretty sure we can all agree, if you're gonna burn a match on Logan Paul, let the other person be Jelly Roll. That's my opinion on it. I'm sure most people won't agree with it. They're probably going to want Logan Paul to be off the card entirely, but that's just simply not going to happen. I think running this back, Jelly Roll versus Logan Paul at Mania, would be a really exciting match, especially if Jelly Roll continues to work out the PC for the next 6 months. I think it'd be great. I gave this match an 8 out of 10. Like I said, I love this match. I love the bumps that Jelly Roll was willing to take. I thought that he looked excellent with them. Logan Paul, you protected your guy. You protected him. This is the guy that was coming in for his first time ever, and you protected him, and you made the match work, and you made him work. Jelly Roll did the work as well. Drew McIntyre protected him well. Randy Orton is Randy Orton. I was sports entertained in this match, guys. I thought it was fantastic. Like I said, 8 out of 10 for me. I know that it's probably the highest rated one out of all of them. I believe it is, because I believe Rob gave this a 7. Yes, he did. So I know I've rated this the highest out of everyone, but I really thoroughly enjoyed this match. Rob, as I said, gave it a 7. You also have my father that gave it a 7. The only one that gave it below a 7 outside of Kane was actually Meatloaf. He gave it a 6. Everyone else gave it a 7. And again, as I said, Kane gave it a 6. Stating above, as far as celebrity matches go, this is one of the celebrity matches of all time. Jelly Roll gets beat up, hot tagged Orton, then it gets decent. Backdrops to the table look clean, great Claymore, and the splash was great. Fair play to Mr. Roll taking that and losing the weight. Massive respect there, and he made sure to make the performers look stronger than himself. He put in the work and didn't seem out of place, and that's all you can ask for. Surprising result too, fun, but ultimately forgettable. I don't know about forgettable personally, but I can understand why Kane feels that way. But again, I thought it was great. Again, I like the Jelly Roll, like, I'm clearly not built for this, and getting carried out and then running back in, and that's how he ends up taking the L. I thought it looked great. I thought the moves that he did at the end, the final series, the final flurry, hitting that Black Hole Slam or whatever it's called on Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre sold it like he was shot. I loved it. Fantastic. This match is going to average out to a 6.857, so it's going to average out to that 8 range. And again, I believe we can all kind of agree that it kind of belongs there. Oh, I'm sorry, not an 8 range, a 7. I apologize. 6.85, so it's going to average up to a 7. That's a perfect spot for it. Like I said, everyone over there basically gave it a 7, with the exception of me, Kane, and Meatloaf, so perfect average there. We will continue on to the main event of Night 1, which was Gunther versus CM Punk, with the ruse of the century coming in directly after that. Seth Rollins is going to end up walking out as your World Heavyweight Champion. Now, I loved this fucking match. I am a sucker for technical wrestling. I love the old school style of Gunther. I know it's a very polarizing topic. Everyone either loves Gunther or they fucking hate him. Rob is not a fan of Gunther at all. Gunther is Kane's favorite wrestler of all time. I cannot begin to state just how impressed I have been with CM Punk. And then when I say that, everyone knows CM Punk is one of the best wrestlers of all time. He's on some people's Mount Rushmores, deservedly so, but the man is still pushing 50. He's on the northern end of 40s, and he is looking so fucking good. He understands that his body cannot do what his body used to be able to do 10 years ago, and so he's having to be much smarter in his matches. He's having to be much more technical. He's having to use his vast knowledge of in-ring psychology to really make these matches work, and they're working. he has looked incredible in every single match he's been in. Even if you're not a huge fan of the CM Punk versus Seth Rollins matches and that feud in general, because yes, the promos have been a little bit repetitive, the matches have still been really fucking good. CM Punk is literally, he is like breathed the fountain of youth into his career. And it has been amazing, amazing, amazing to see personally. I gave this match a 9 out of 10. I love the finish of him dropping Gunther down and Gunther busting his head, although where he was bleeding, he didn't really hit. Regardless of that fact, Gunther doesn't bleed very often, and they played into that. Again, I've said it in previous reviews, Gunther's biggest problem as a character, and it's not to say that it's a character like bad writing, it's a character flaw, and every character should have one, is his egotistical, overconfident nature. He's also never seen his own blood. And when he saw his own blood, and CM Punk saw his blood, and CM Punk was targeting that head, targeting that cut, targeting it, like when he had the sleeper on, he's punching him in the head to loosen it up. Again, going back to what I just said about CM Punk being a fucking genius right now as a wrestler, but it also was like that it was the opening that he needed to finally beat Gunther. And Gunther once again fell on the sword, as he has in the past against both Jey Uso and Seth Rollins. So, not Seth Rollins, sorry, Sami Zayn. I apologize, Sami Zayn. A fantastic match. I gave this match a 9 out of 10. And, of course, I'm actually including the cash-in in that rating. I thought that the ruse of the century, Seth Rollins coming down, the sight of him literally dropping the fucking crutches onto the stage and then taking the brace off and coming in, it was fucking perfect, man. I called it. I figured that the injury wasn't real, but I appreciated just how far they went to make it seem real. It really, a lot of people are like, oh, this doesn't make any sense, like you should have expected it. No, because in K-Fob, he's hurt. No one knows when he's coming back. No one knows if he's actually hurt or not. No one knows if he's injured. Why would a champion be on guard if you have no idea if the guy that can cash in on you is even able to walk down the ramp? So why would he be on guard? That doesn't make sense. So it made perfect sense that CM Punk didn't leave the ring, because you have no idea where the fuck the Brawns are. They could be hiding in the... You drop your guard and you try to run up the ring and bam, you're speared. Or you're tsunami'd or something like that. So of course CM Punk didn't run. Where the fuck is he going to run to? The Brawns are somewhere. Take him on when he comes in there, and unfortunately he had exhausted too much of his energy and he lost. Because again, Seth Rollins said, as long as there's life and breath in my lungs, CM Punk will never be champion. CM Punk's going to have to kill him. In order to win that title for real, though. But honestly, though, I'm happy that CM Punk won the title for all of 5.5 minutes. I'm really happy the title is back around Seth Rollins' waist, and I cannot wait to see where the vision goes from here. I gave this match, as I said, a 9 out of 10. We also have some people that, like, the match was this, but the overall rating was this. We're going to go with the overall rating. So we're going to give Rob a 9 here. We're going to give, my dad had a 9 as well, just in general. We have a 7.5, well, 8.5 rather, because again, the cash in, we're going to go with that one. 2 8.5s, and we also have a 9 there from David, and we have a 9 from Kane, which I really don't think this man has ever given Gunther less than a 9, so I don't know why I'm surprised by that. But Kane said, finally, some good graps. You know, if I had a nickel for every time CM Punk entered a company only to win the world title off of my favorite guy, only to immediately lose it, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but come on, man. Justice for Gunther, but actually really good, but justice for Gunther. I'm hoping we can start seeing him on the SmackDown side of the titles. While I love watching him work, I think it's clear that he needs fresh scenery for a while. Just for note, as of Raw, he was written off I believe I read somewhere that he actually had a nose issue going into the match, and that's why they had him bleed and get injured, so he could actually get surgery on his nose. That's just something I saw in there. I don't know the validity of it, but I do know on Raw last night they said he was going to be gone for some time. But hey, Seth cashed in. It was a work. I'd say I was shocked by it. Me and Eric have been sus of this since the aftermath of the initial angle and how they treated it during the lead up to SummerSlam. Wish they presented the cash in better, though. They let it sizzle for way too long, so it felt too obvious by the time the crutches fell. I don't necessarily agree with that last part, but I can also, again, see where Kane is coming from here. He has a very good eye on picking up certain things like that, so I appreciate his insight there. But ultimately, he still gave it a 9, and that's what we're here to discuss. This match got an average of an 8.857, so it is going to end up averaging out to that 9 that I think we all kind of expected it to be at. So, hell yeah. GG Gunther, GG CM Punk, GG Seth Rollins. Fantastic ending to what was kind of, as you can tell here, not a bad night one like some people thought it was, but a relatively midnight one. Let's see how night 2 looked. Starting things off, night 2 was, and well, personally, I guess we'll start here. Night 2, in my opinion, was definitely the better night overall. It did have one major dud, which I'm assuming you guys can probably look at the ratings there and tell which match we all thought was kind of the dud here, but we'll get into that and break everything down here in just a moment. But we are going to be opening with the women's triple threat match. Naomi versus Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. Again, keep in mind, remember Evolution. Naomi cashed in on a fucking 5-star classic between Rhea and Io. Their follow-up match, again, being an opener, it's not going to cook quite like that one did. We're not going to get a WrestleMania-esque match to start SummerSlam, but we still got a fucking banger of a match. Basically, anything Rhea Ripley and Io Sky touch is going to be gold. You add Naomi, which is exactly the little ripple that this match needed to be different and new and fun and exciting. And I love this match. I thought Naomi held her own against the amazingness of Rhea and Io. Rhea and Io continue to be this, like, the frenemies, if you will. Just give me Rio, man. Just give me Rhea and Io as a fucking tag team. Like I said, my agenda for Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Charlexa is 100% a go right now, and I would love to see it happen. I thought that they looked amazing in this match, teaming up on Naomi, then of course having to fight each other, Naomi taking advantage of it. Rhea Ripley, I thought she was finally going to get that win. That super Riptide or Avalanche Riptide, whatever you want to call it, off the turnbuckle was phenomenal. Io Sky continues to sell like she was shot every time she takes a move. Phenomenal. Naomi looked excellent. She sold amazing. Her offense was amazing. I love this more evil, sinister, like aggressive heel that she is. I thought this match was amazing. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It was missing a little drama at the end. I felt like it kind of ended all of a sudden. But Naomi has technically now pinned Io Sky at Evolution and Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam, so she's technically beat them both. You can't complain that Rhea Ripley didn't get pinned. Of course, it was a roll-up pin. Held the tights, as heels are known to do. But still, Naomi pinned them both. So, it's what she needed to do. I like the ending, but I would have liked a little bit more drama. Maybe a few more finishers. I know everyone fucking hates finisher spam. Not me. I love the shit. I wish I had more drama. It's whatever. 9 out of 10 for me. As you can tell over there, Rob agreed. Gave this match a 9 out of 10. Lots of 8s. My dad gave it an 8. Kane gave it an 8. We also have Meatloaf gave it an 8. We have Cameron gave it a 7. Sir, we need to have a word. How the hell did you give this match a 7? Anyway, David gave it a 9, and Kane gave it an 8, stating above. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky might have the greatest chemistry in wrestling today, regardless of gender. No arguments there. I completely agree with them. Absolutely perfect together. Naomi fit right in, held her own, but the match could have let her shine more and amp up the drama for that little bit extra. Again, I think we're kind of all in the same boat there as far as that is concerned, where we all feel like this match was missing like that one extra little like oomph to it. So I definitely agree with him there. But ultimately, 8.28 is what this is going to get, so it's going to be averaging out to an 8. I would have been perfectly fine if it got a 9, but we will accept an 8. We will accept an 8. So it's kind of the majority pick here. But regardless, 8, 9s, even if you gave it a 7, it makes sense. But I do believe an 8's probably a very good spot for it. A 4-star match, and we'll see if we get another step up. We do have, well, Naomi and Io face off next week. Assuming Naomi wins that match too, we have Naomi and Stephanie Vaquero to look forward to. And I think that match could be a banger because we've never seen it. I love new matches. So I'm very intrigued by Naomi versus Stephanie because they can go one of two ways. There could be really good matches that you didn't see coming, or you could tell they've never faced each other before, and it's a clunky mess. I'm excited to see what happens. Next up we have, in my opinion, match of the fucking night. And I don't think there's much arguing that. This was... When I saw... This is the TLC match. When I saw 6 teams, 12 members, plus the fucking Wyatts hanging out on the ramp, I knew they were going to get involved at some point. I was expecting a fucking car crash. I was expecting this to be a match that no one can follow. You have to pick wrestlers to watch. But they had managed to get everything timed perfectly. Everything was orchestrated perfectly. Everything was set up perfectly. I cannot think of a single botch in this match, except maybe a slight slip up. Oh, I got to get my feet back on here. Okay, now we do the move. Maybe there. But honestly, the Wyatt 6, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Street Profits, Andrade and Rey Fenix, Fraxium, all of them phenomenal. I was shocked that my other roommate Victor, he doesn't watch SmackDown, so he had never seen Fraxium. I've seen Fraxium live. I went to go see Vengeance Day, the NXT pay-per-view up in DC. Fucking mind-blowing, man. They're so fucking good. Both of them. They both excel at different sides of the aerial assault coin. It's all phenomenal. Nathan Frazier is definitely the best seller because obviously Axiom wears the full Power Ranger style mask, so you don't get to see his face at all. But his body language is so good, which he has to because he wears that mask like that. And his offense is just incredible. The Street Profits, they haven't put on a bad match in 3 years, if they ever have. Motor City Machine Guns, I love them. I think they're phenomenal. I think they're fantastic pieces to the SmackDown puzzle. I think that the Wyatt 6, a polarizing opinion, but I actually love the Wyatt 6. I think they add a certain level to every single match they're in. It's a spookier level, but it's a level nonetheless, and I think it adds a lot to their matches. I love DIY. They've always been phenomenal. They've always been very high emotion, high energy. And Andrade and Rey Fenix, they've been perfect together since they got united. And everything they've done has been gold. The SmackDown Tag Team division as a whole is phenomenal because you still have Pretty Deadly, even though one of them is injured. You still have Pretty Deadly sitting back there. It does appear that Legado de Fantasma has shifted over to Raw. So has the LWO. They've kind of gone over to Raw because Raw needs tag teams. If there is a draft coming up soon, maybe after Clash in Paris, I can see some of these teams being drafted over to Raw to kind of balance out the tag team divisions a little bit better. But I almost don't want them to because I don't know how bad that's going to hurt the SmackDown tag division because this match worked so well because you have established every single one of those teams. Regardless of that fact, this match fucking banged. This was the best car crash I have ever seen in my entire life. This was the best. This was somehow better than the TLC on SmackDown between Motor City Machine Gun, Street Profits, and DIY. You added the additional teams. It was somehow even better. The Spanish Fly that Axiom and Dawkins did from Street Profits, fucking what? And then, oh my god, then you add Candice LeRae, B-Fab, and Nikki Cross. That ladder spot that Candice LeRae did, push her. Push her. Give that woman a fucking title shot. Hell, make Candice LeRae the one that fucking beats Tiffany Stratton. I don't care. That was amazing. Just absolutely amazing. I love this match from start to finish. I love the Wyatt 6 getting involved. I love the Street Profits having to team up to take out Rowan. I love the fact that you had Uncle Howdy get involved and take that fucking Mexican Destroyer or Code Red, whatever you want to call it, off the top of the ladder onto the other ladder by Andrade. The whole fucking match was perfect. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. An absolute 5-star amazing match. I loved it. It is an absolute 10. As you can tell, everyone liked the match, maybe not as much as me and King did. Rob did agree. Rob gave us a 9, so he did not agree with me. Rob gave us a 9. My dad agreed with me, gave it a 10. He's the other 10 on here. But everyone else still liked it. We have Meatloaf that gave it a 9.5. You have Cameron that gave this match an 8.5. You have David that gave this match a 9. And then, of course, as I said, you had Kane that gave this match a 10. Very short and sweet. Bruh, I've got nothing. Watch this match. Insanity bell to bell. Pretty sure 90% of the participants are legally dead. I think Candice LeRae might literally be dead. Man. Unfortunately, because of all the 9s, this is going to average out to a 9.428. So it is going to end up being a 9 and not the 10 that I god dang think it should be. But regardless, it is still an A-rank match. It is still a highlight. It is easily the best match on this entire card, both nights. I don't think we can argue that. Maybe the main event of this match, mostly because this Cena-Cody match was way better, which we'll get to in a second. So that match might be more higher rated than this one was, but I really do feel like if you take an actual like wrestling perspective, this was probably the match of the night. Next up, we have Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria. For the Women's Intercontinental title, Becky Lynch would end up retaining here. I really fucking love. So it was a no holds barred match. So another stipulation match, which unfortunately is a trend that you will see through just about every one of these matches on night 2. They really stacked the stipulation matches on night 2, unfortunately, which kind of I think hurt night 1 even more. I absolutely loved this match. I thought this match was incredible. I thought this match was perfect. I thought this match had everything. But as you can tell by the ratings up there, and as you can also look online, this match was very polarizing. And had a very wide array of opinions, both online, on Cage Match, and amongst us. I will say this. It was definitely a little bit long. Initially, I gave this match a 10. I have kind of re-reviewed this match, and I'm going to give it a 9 instead of a 10, and take off points because of length. A lot of the moves had to get set up. There were a couple of botches, but that really wasn't their fault. The other issue with this match is the crowd fucking sucked. The crowd was not interested in this match whatsoever. They literally fucking did the wave during this match. No one was fucking paying attention, which was absolutely disrespectful. And ultimately, it hurt the match a little bit. Not to me, because I really couldn't hear the crowd from my TV. I was watching with Rob and Victor, so I really couldn't hear the crowd all that well anyway. So I didn't really care, but a lot of people that were like watching on their computers with their headphones in their ears, or even at the event, found it very hard to concentrate on the match because of the way the crowd was acting, which is really unfortunate that Lyra and Becky were hurt by shit that they weren't even doing, because the match they were putting on was a fucking banger. You can have your opinions on Bayley getting involved, which, as you can see, my dad dropped it a little bit because of the interference there with Bayley. I do agree with my dad. My dad made one really good point when we were talking about it. Bayley was coherent enough to accidentally punch Lyra, but not coherent enough to stop the... Like, you were trying to hit Becky Lynch. That was your target. But you sat there and watched her pin Lyra. Like, you didn't stop the count. You didn't get involved. Like, if your intent was to help Lyra and stop Becky, you just kind of stood there and stared and moped. And it's just, I can understand where my dad was coming from there. It didn't really make a ton of sense. But I don't think that detracted from the match as a whole enough for me to take any points away from it. Because I thought it was a fucking banger. The out-of-nowhere leg drop that Bird Lady did to Becky Lynch while she was sitting over top of the table, phenomenal. The aggressiveness from Becky Lynch, this is the best version of Becky that we've seen in a very long time. I loved it. Ultimately, like I said, I gave this match a 9 out of 10. As you can tell, wide array of opinions here. I know the fact that Rob gave this a 10 out of 10. He told me it in person that this was a 10 out of 10 for him. So 10 for Rob. We have an 8 from Dad due to the interference. A 7.5 from Meatloaf. He was hurt by the crowd. As you can tell, Cameron didn't really care much for it. 6.5. And then we have David giving it a 7. And then Kane giving it a 9 with the following. An absolute star-making performance from Lyra. Despite being the victim of what was more beating than a match, she took everything. Chemistry continues to be great. Awesome match that continues this incredible rivalry between these two and Bayley. I don't know if it so much continues the feud with Lyra and Becky Lynch As we saw last night, Becky Lynch has moved on to Nikki Bella. And unfortunately, Lyra cannot challenge for the women's IC title as long as Becky Lynch holds it. Overall, this wide array of ratings is going to put this match at an 8.14, so it's going to end up being an 8 out of 10 once you round it down. But still, that is an incredible spot for a match that has been relatively polarizing, again, amongst us, amongst the crowd, and amongst the online community there. Now, let's get to, in my opinion, the most disappointing match on the card. Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu for the U.S. title inside a cage match, in my opinion, was the number 2 match that I was looking forward to outside of the TLC match. And I've never been more disappointed by a match in my entire life. I thought it was not good at all. I thought it was disappointing. I thought it was not a good showing by either Solo or Jacob. You put them in a cage for no fucking reason. The 2 reasons to put anyone in a cage is to A, keep people out. It didn't. Literally 2 members of the NMFT got in the fucking ring. And you also put people in a cage to use the cage as a weapon. And they did a little bit, but not enough. I mean, did you have Jacob Fatu do a moonsault after the match is over? Yes, the moonsault was incredible. An amazing spot. But you wasted it on the 2 members of the MFT, and you did it after the fucking match was over, so I almost can't even include it in my rating. My dad did, as you can see. That's why my dad rated this so highly. I gave this bitch a 4. And I gave it a 4 not because it was a 4 bad. I gave it a 4 because I was expecting this to be match of the night. I was expecting this to be a fucking slaughterfest. Now, maybe this match got cut for time. Maybe this match was intentionally shorter because how long Lyra and Becky went, and the fact that they were about to give Cody and Cena 45 fucking minutes. But it really hurt this match. It really hurt this feud. And I don't see how these 2 can continue fighting, given just how bad this match was, unless you want them to keep fighting to redeem it. But yeah, I gave this match a 4 out of 10. Extremely disappointing showing, in my opinion. Not everyone agreed with me that this match was as terrible as I thought it was. And again, when I say terrible, I'm more so meaning underwhelming and less than I expected. My dad did give it a 7 because of the post-match, so he included the post-match in his ratings where I did not. But we're going to count it. So Dad gave it a 7, but everyone else gave it a 5, a 4, and a 5. However, Kane gave it a 6, stating above. Hot take, I hate WWE steel cage matches. Escaping the cage shouldn't be a W. It should be considered a forfeit. Having a stipulation dedicated to not being able to run, being winnable by running away. I also fucking hate the fact that you can escape to the door. That's my biggest issue. Escape over the top? Fine, whatever. Escape to the door? Fucking hate it. And the last, handful of cage matches have all ended that way, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Pin the bitches in the ring. Stupid, hate it. Anyway, Jacob Fatu wore a Chewbacca mask to the ring. Action was solid. Jacob looked like a savage as he demanded it stay in the ring. I do agree with that. Him constantly pulling Solo back in every time he tried to escape was fun. Not redeeming enough for me. Anyway, it was an impossible task to live up to the rest of the quality, but they gave it their all and it was still fun. 6 out of 10. This match is going to average out to a 5.28, so it is going to average out to a 5. I'm fine with it being there. It is probably going to be the worst rated match on this card, which hurts my soul. I'm a huge Jacob Fatu fan, as you can tell, and it was really upsetting to see this match be as underwhelming as it was. So this is probably going to be the lowest rated match on the card, which is, again, sucks, but it's where it belongs because it was not good. Next up we have Dominic Mysterio, the Intercontinental title, versus AJ Styles, in a match that I was extremely looking forward to. I knew this match was going to be good. I did not have any idea what to expect as far as the contents of said match. It basically ended up becoming an Eddie Guerrero tribute. Well, it was from the get-go an Eddie Guerrero tribute. What I did not realize, 20 years ago at SummerSlam, Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero fought in a custody match for Dominic Mysterio, and that was why AJ, who has always looked up to Eddie, and Dominic Mysterio basically paid homage to Eddie from the very beginning. They wore attire that was based on Dominic Mysterio wore attire that I believe either similar to how he wore in the match where he was sitting ringside, or based on what Mysterio was wearing. And then of course AJ Styles came out in the literal same trunks, the same pants that Eddie Guerrero did. Came out in the fucking lowrider, had his son dressed up just like his son was dressed like Dominic Mysterio was in that match, and Dom was wearing Rey Mysterio inspired gear. They literally played all the biggest hits for Eddie Guerrero with like the fucking chair shot and throwing it, putting the chair over your head, the leg twitch, the loosening the boot, so that's how he was able to beat AJ Styles so that Dominic Mysterio could retain. I loved it as a tribute. I thought the two of them also worked relatively well together. Overall, I gave the match a 7 out of 10. Was going to go with a 6 because, again, I expected a little bit more as far as the in-ring action was concerned. But I thought the Eddie Guerrero synergy and callbacks were extremely incredible. I thought Dom showing 1,000 IQ. And again, he's not the most talented as far as athletically gifted, so he has to use his smarts. And I thought he did it so excellent. He's Eddie Guerrero's son, man. He really is. So I gave this match a 7 out of 10. As you can see, a lot of my friends on the side gave it somewhere in that ballpark range. We have Rob that gave it a B-, which is also a 7. We have my dad that gave it a 6. Meatloaf gave it an 8. Cameron gave it a 7.5. And David gave this match a 6. And, of course, Kane gave this match an 8 out of 10. As you can see above, stating really fun match that showed off Dom well while paying tribute to Eddie Guerrero with the chair and the boot spot. Really good and a relatively clean win for Dom. No help, no interference, all him. I actually agree at that point, and I did not think about it. No interference. No Judgment Day. No JD. No Finn Balor. No Roxanne. Of course, no Liv. No Raquel. Did it all himself. I actually agree with that and didn't even think about that. So, kudos to Dom. I appreciate this. I also want to take this real quick moment before we get to the main event. I'm going to put Kane's channel down below, as well as Meatloaf and Tyler. So please follow everyone there. My dad obviously doesn't stream or do YouTube. Rob doesn't either. He just joins me. Same for David. But Meatloaf, Cameron, their Twitches are going to be below. And then Kane's Twitch and his YouTube. Definitely go follow the YouTube, though, because Kane is actually going to be posting a lot of wrestling content, like specific, like deep dives into different aspects of wrestling in general. And I may end up appearing on that if it's successful. So that's why I'm promoting it, so that way it's successful. And then I can be on it at some point. So thanks, Kane, in advance. That's why I gave you the shout out, so now you have to put me in it. Thank you. Anyway, guys, we're going to move on to the main event now, which was John Cena, Cody Rhodes, the WWE title, in a street fight. I don't know what else you can say. I thought this match was a phenomenal showing. Do I think this match was viewed so highly strictly because of how bad the WrestleMania match was? No. Do I think with how bad the WrestleMania match was, this match appeared to be an enormous, classic? Yes. This is what we expected the WrestleMania match to be, with the exception, in my opinion, of the length. And that is why I gave this match a 10. John Cena did a 37-minute straight match with most action, not a lot of downtime. And when there was downtime, he's still hoisting heavy, massive stairs. He is carrying Cody Rhodes on his shoulders down the ramp when that fucking iconic, lift spot where he's the lights and the smoke and everything coming out of the lift. He's still got the man on his shoulders. And Cody Rhodes is not a small man. That is not a heavy man, but that's a big man he's got on his shoulders. So, kudos to fucking John Cena, man. This is, if every single match, I don't know if he can possibly top this match on his entire last 4 matches, because he's only got 4 more PLEs, 3 PLEs, and then the December 13th Saturday Night Main Event that is supposedly to be his retirement match. I don't know if he can top this match in terms of quality and length of time and everything that went into it. But this was him giving the title back to Cody Rhodes. Once again, passing the torch to Cody. And they're really showing the fact that you had a pre-Cena crowd that ended up as a pro-Cena crowd. I don't know why I said pre-Cena. A pro-Cena crowd that all of a sudden became pro-Cody Rhodes by the end of it. That's storytelling. That's literally how you build a babyface. That is how you rebuild Cody Rhodes in a short 4 or 5 month span. I loved this match from start to finish. There was no spots of this match that I thought were poorly done. We will talk about the very end of who came out in a second. Kane mentions it at the bottom of his, so I will use that as a segue. We're strictly rating this based off of the match. I gave it a 10, as you can see. So did Rob. Rob gave this match a 10 as well. My dad gave it a 9. Everyone else except Kane gave this match a 10, so we have 3 10s, and then Kane gave it an 8. Stating, the apology for Mania we've all been waiting for. While it's still not an all-timer, in his opinion, anything is a match of the year compared to the main event of Mania. Cody playing up as the heel and Cena as the babyface was the right move, and we got to see some of that darker side from Cody, which has been the most interesting part of this run to the top. This is the final Mania match that Cena never got. No bells, no whistles, no 6-minute run-ins from rappers, no final boss, just the top star of professional wrestling's past 20 years, putting over the top star of today, and running the hits. And then Brock Lesnar returned, which killed any goodwill I had after that main event, but I'm not going to let that alter my score. This match is going to average out to a 9.57, so it is going to become a 10. I forgot to put Dom and AJ. I forgot to put that on there. Oops. I really did forget to do that. Oh, God. It was a 7. Okay, we'll put Dom and AJ at the 7 that it's supposed to be. I totally forgot to do that. You didn't say anything, chat. But yeah, I'm going to spend a very few short minutes talking about Brock Lesnar because this video has already ran way fucking longer than I wanted it to. I have always been on the side that we don't need Brock Lesnar in today's WWE. You have wrestlers that are better wrestlers, better talkers, better personalities that could literally fit the role. You're grooming Braun Breaker to be that. You have Obafemi literally sitting in NXT. You don't need him. If John Cena wanted him, and that's why you have him back for one match against Cena, then fine, I guess. But he is listed in the Janelle Grant case. He's listed there multiple times. Now, I did some research before I made this video because I didn't want to talk out of my ass. The expectation of the Janelle Grant lawsuit is that it is either A, going to go to litigation, or B, a settlement will be reached. As of right now, no legal charges, to my knowledge, based on my limited research, have been filed directly against Brock Lesnar. He is simply mentioned in the case that the fucking nasty shit that Vince McMahon wanted her to do was then sent to Brock in an attempt to make him resign. That's where Brock Lesnar's impact into this entire thing comes into play. Until that case is resolved, I do not see how, in good faith, he is back in the WWE. However, legally, he does not have any charges currently filed against him, which means they're not hurting themselves in bringing him back. If this goes to litigation, if this goes to settlement, Brock Lesnar is done in terms of his impact. They can't decide to then sue Brock Lesnar. because you settled the case with the litigation, which means, and again, this is where I may be wrong, and I apologize, but if it goes to litigation, that means that no verdict could be made without a third party involved, to my knowledge. Again, I don't know, I'm not a legal expert here. All that being said, optically, dog shit. Not a good decision. Not until everything is solved. If everything had been solved and litigation had happened or a settlement had happened and everything was done and you reached a conclusion, Vince McMahon fucking sucks. He's a piece of shit, disgusting asshole. Fuck Vince McMahon, right? Cool. We can all agree with that. Brock Lesnar's impact then becomes a gray area. And if you bring him back at that point, fuck it, I guess, right? Most of us probably don't want to see him. But there's nothing stopping you from bringing him back. Because there's nothing legal on him at this time. If that changes, if more information is brought out, and they have a case, and that is filed against him, Triple H has absolutely, royally fucked himself. What I don't like about this entire situation that no one is really talking about much, except for today, Triple H said that John Cena wanted Brock Lesnar back, and that's why Brock Lesnar is back. John Cena says, I do what they tell me, and I fight who they tell me I'm going to fight. That's contradicting, and that's not good. So, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm going to wait to really pass my true final judgment on if this is a good idea or not, if he continues to be in the business after his match with Cena. I also am going to look very negatively on this if this is a fucking 3-month feud. We have effectively 4 John Cena matches left. 12 appearances, 9 revealed. If you're going to burn the entire end of this run on a 3-match trilogy against Brock Lesnar, shove it up your ass. If it's a one-off match against Brock Lesnar at Clash in Paris, fine. But the fact that you had to end pressers after pay-per-views because you were about to bring Brock Lesnar back, that's not an alarm bell? That's not a sign of, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this? I don't know. Again, as of right now, I don't like the move. I'm against it, but I'm not going to stop watching wrestling because of it, like some people are. If the terminology of the case changes, Triple H has fucked himself. That's how I view it. Ultimately, though, Brock Lesnar aside, this pay-per-view, in my opinion, a lot better than the internet seems to want to say it is. I was disappointed by some matches. I was thoroughly impressed by others. I'm currently calculating everything here, so bear with me one brief moment, chat. We're going to divide this by 12. And the final rating for this PLE is an even 7.5, which is above average. 7 is a B minus, and 8 is a B plus, or B, if you want to call it that. So you're looking right slap in the middle of that. So the disappointing matches were definitely disappointing, but the matches that were really good were really fucking good. And I think that is a perfect balance on this card. We have a nice little pyramid here, as you can tell. So ultimately, I think SummerSlam 2025 was definitely a big success. Better than WrestleMania, in my opinion. If you're going to call this WrestleMania Light, definitely served its purpose. I would love to know what you guys think down below based on our reviews of the matches. Do you agree with the polarity of some of these matches? Do you believe with where these matches ended up falling after the averages were calculated? Where do you disagree? Where do you agree? And ultimately, what are your opinions of Brock Lesnar coming back? I'd love to hear what you think about that. And also, tell me who you think Cody Rhodes is going to face next. My money is on Drew McIntyre. I think we're finally going to get Cody versus Drew, especially now that Drew is on SmackDown. SmackDown is still going to be about 3 or so days away by the time I get this uploaded, so I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know down below. In the meantime, you all have a fantastic day. I will see you all next time. Peace.